Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, August 29th. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and then we can get started with our session for the day. So let's see. I'll check news as well. This is NFP week, so we'll see if there's anything in particular that we should be looking out for today. But typically NFP week is usually hit or miss on Monday, and then it picks up into the week as we get closer to actual NFP. So just give me a few moments, guys, to finish updating everything here in the group, and then we can get started. Sure. All right, looks good. Looks solid, guys. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Scan. All right, cool. All right, so I'll give a few minutes for people to make their way in. Hey, Patricia, morning. Morning, everybody. Let's see. Let's get a few more minutes. As people make their way in, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the zones over here. Got one up here. One below here. One over here. This one overlaps, so. All right, solid. So good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Today is Monday, August 29th. It is NFP week, so just keep that in mind. Monday typically is hit or miss. As we move closer to NFP, which is on Friday, that's usually where the market starts to pick up. So if it's slow today, it's completely fine, it's normal. And then it'll pick up as we approach NFP, usually around Wednesday. That's usually when the more news comes out and the market starts to move a little more erratic. So let's see who else is here. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Peter. Morning, David. Morning, Karen. Morning, everybody. Looks like about half of you guys are here right now. So I'll give it a few more minutes for people to join in. What I've done right now is I've marked up the SR zones near price. Let's see if there's any news that we need to be aware of today. I don't think there is from what we checked last week. Today, there's not really much news going on. There's Fed member Brainerd who's speaking at 11:15. We'll be off the live by then, so it's not a big deal. Today is a bank holiday for the UK, so volatility might be a bit lower as not all markets are completely open for the week yet. So yeah, other than that, there's no news for today. I'll let a few more people join in until we start to fully analyze everything. But I think for the most part, that should be about it. So morning, Stern, morning, Miles, morning, Jez, morning, Becky, morning, Al, morning, Marco, morning, TJ, morning, Casey, morning, Frazier, morning, everybody. So as people start to make their way in, it's 6:24 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. Looking at the market right here, you guys can see that volatility has died down quite a bit in the last couple of minutes as price has entered this range right here, right? pretty much from this area to here, this is the range. Mark up the zone so that we can see where price is likely to go, but you can see that price is typically bouncing between this area and this area down here. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the sentiment so we can see if there's any bias for today. I don't think there is. Everything's kind of gone flat as we're exiting the summer season. So as you guys can see right here, pretty much all summer, we had a 60% or more sentiment on the short side. So it's kind of easy to look for buys like all throughout summer, right? We're exiting summer right now and we're entering fall season. As we're doing that, you can see that the sentiment here is starting to change from short to long. That's perfectly normal, guys. So just keep that in mind. But right now, it's only 51% long. So in order for us to really have a strong bias with regard to retail sentiment, we want this to typically be above 60%, right? Because we want the majority of retail traders to be on one side so that we can do the opposite. Right now, they're pretty much split. So retail sentiment right now is currently neutral, meaning that we don't really have a strong bias, and we'll have to use other indicators to identify, where we want to be trading. But currently right now, it's just pretty much flat. It's not going to be too useful for us. There are more retail traders on the buy side, so we might be looking for sells. However, there's no guarantee that they're going to stay on that side. It's going to easily shift as market opens and more people enter the market for the week. So right now, retail sentiment is neutral. Looking over here at the fundamentals, are currently down 228 points. So with that said, that's indicating that the market is bearish right now, right? So we might have somewhat of a bearish bias. However, it's going to be overall neutral because the sentiment here hasn't confirmed. But right now, it shows that there's more retail traders on the buy side. So we obviously want to do the opposite and sell. But we'll see where the market takes us as we progress through the NFP week. So overall bias, neutral. Looking over here at short-term bias, it's currently bullish, right? Reason for that is because the trend here is very strong for a bullish confirmation. We have the trend meter here, which is green, indicating that the trend is currently bullish on the 1 minute time frame. Also looking at the pivots over here, the pivots are angling up with the green pivot over the red pivot. So with that said, we have a pretty neutral bias because overall we have a short-term, or not necessarily short-term, but we have a neutral to bearish bias with the trend meter over here. The trend is currently indicating a bullish bias. So one side is telling us to take sells, one side is telling us to take buys, right? So there's no strong bias either way. We're just going to consider this neutral overall, short-term and long-term. And then as price continues to move along, we can make adjustments. So unfortunately, no bias right now, but when the market does open, if the market does pick up volatility, then we can kind of anticipate where it's going to go. So we do have structure built up over here. So it's not necessarily random per se. So market is opening in about 2 minutes. Let's see who else is here. Morning, Ross. Morning, Matt. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Steven. Morning, Professor. Morning, everybody. So, all right, guys, market's going to open shortly. I can go ahead and mark up areas of liquidity over here on the 1 minute. I think this might be useful to identify market structure. This is a clean chart, so we're just going to go back and forth between this one and the markup. All right. So you guys can see right here that price is pretty much in a range right now. It's going right down the middle right here. So we'll see what happens in the next couple seconds as the market opens in under a minute. So, all right, guys, let's get ready for this. Price is dropping below here. And as you can see, price is starting to shift. This is why you don't want to really be stuck in one position. If price starts to move below here, then we'll have a bearish bias. But we'll see where the market takes us. Market is opening in about 30 seconds. So if price drops below here, perfectly fine. If we look over here at the heat map, the entire market is red anyways. So we're probably going to be looking for some sells long term, or at least for the day. Heat map here is completely red. Hey, Slava, morning. All right, guys, market is opening in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Market is now open. All right, so there we go. As price starts to dump below, you guys don't chase these drops here. Wait for an actual entry, okay? So Huge drop right here. It's moving the direction of the longer term bias. As you can see, price is dumping. It's a huge candle, so don't chase this. This candle's been dropping about 550 pips. So big drop right here. What we're going to be looking for is some sort of retracement, and then wait for it to possibly come back up. So I'm going to mark up opening price, which is going to be right here. We'll see if it actually closes that way, but I think it is where it should be. So we'll see where that goes. Let me see where the sessions are currently sitting. All right, so we got the Asia session above here and below here. So they're kind of far from where price is currently at. As you guys can see right here, this is opening price. Price drop right here. This is why you don't want to chase it, because if you chase it like that, you're going to get caught in this spike back to the upside. One thing that we can look for here is if we get a moderate red candle, we can possibly take this for an SR rejection scalp. But we got to make sure that this candle doesn't come and touch this blue line right here, which is opening price, right? That's going to consider it a red flag if it comes up and touches it. So you can't touch it. There's got to be, and this candle also cannot be too big. So just keep that in mind, guys. A couple of things to keep in mind. Candle can't be too big, and it's got to close moderate. So no wick on the bottom end that's too large. So right now, this isn't even a red candle. So there can't be too big of a wick on the bottom side. Looks like the wick's going to be too big on this close. So no entry off that. So still no entry. In order for us to have a sell here, we need this to come up and test one of these zones, hopefully this one right here, and then close as a moderate red candle. If there's no wick rejection, no entry. All right, price is pushing up right there. We got the wick rejection. We got to make sure it doesn't touch the opening price up here. If it closes as a moderate red candle, this could possibly be the entry for an SR scalp. But you got to make sure and actually wait for it to close, because if you don't wait for it to close, it can pretty much spike at the last second. So just be patient, guys. And this candle can't be too big, right? So just be patient, actually wait for the candle to close. Don't just enter a trade right away. Let's see, this has got about 5 seconds left. It's not going to close. All right, so no entry off that. As you can see, the candles here are being very erratic, right? You're getting big wicks on both sides. This is going to make it very risky because it's trying to lure people in both ways, right? So basically what the market makers are doing right now is just screwing up people. They're waiting for people to hop in one direction or the other. Once there's enough people on one side, they're going to spike it up or spike it down. You know, someone's going to get screwed. That's really what's going to happen here. So it turns into a gamble because you really don't know where price is going. There's no overall bias. It's pretty neutral. Short-term bias right here shifting to the sell side. So we're probably gonna have to wait for this. Yeah, spread is high again. Thanks, Wesley, for confirming that. We'll probably have to wait a little bit until we actually get something. So price is back at opening price right here or close to it. There we go. So this is why I was telling you guys not to chase the sell, because there's no direction. None of these closed as an actual entry for the SR. And you can see basically people who chased the sell right here just got screwed. Because if you chased it from down here, you would have been like, it would have came right up and then stopped you out. And here we are back in the range. So this is the same range price was in earlier. Let's go back to the clean chart. See the range that I drew earlier, guys, right here. It's just right back into it. It's like nothing happened. This was just manipulation on open, came right back up, and it's back to where it was before market open. So just be patient, guys, and careful when you guys are taking these entries, because if you guys fall for these traps, like for example, if you chase that sell right there, you would have been in some massive drawdown, price stopped out at this point. And then again, right here, you don't want to chase this buy because there's no actual entry here, right? If you have an entry, great. Like what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to close within the zone. I'm looking for a wick rejection off this point, and then I'm going to ride the continuation up higher. This is basically a break and retest. So break in structure, retest, and continuation. That's what I'm looking for, right? So right here, we do get the wick rejection. we need a moderate green candle in order for us to take this for a buy. Right, so that's what I'm looking for right here. I'm looking for a moderate green candle. Not chasing it right away because I want to wait for that confirmation. But you guys can see how market is faking out, right? It faked out to the bottom, faked out to the top. Now it's faking out again. So don't chase this right here. It's got to be patient and wait for that actual confirmation. If you guys are not familiar with the strategy that we're looking at, it's the K2SR rejection right here. If you guys want to review that, watch the last 3 mentoring sessions. We've been over this strategy in detail. So as long as you guys wait for the entry to come up and for these requirements to settle, you'll have a solid entry. There hasn't been any confirmation for them yet. So we're still waiting here. Still no entry. Rick said, I wake up on Trap Tuesday. I know it looks like a Tuesday right now, right? With the market, how it's been moving. Spread is currently 190 on FTMO, guys. So you definitely want to be a bit careful if you guys are entering any trades. If you guys do enter a trade on FTMO, make sure that you're focusing on trading view over here, because if it hits your TP on trading view, you have to pull out. Don't get greedy, because if that's the case, then market might be manipulated against you as soon as it does hit TP. So don't get greedy today, guys. If you guys reach your TP on trading view here, make sure to manually close your trade on FTMO or whatever other broker you're using, if you're using MC4 in general. All right, so price closes above here. We're looking for the wick rejection of the next candle. So we got about 2 seconds. Price is going to close within here. If we get the wick rejection, which we do right here, and a moderate green candle, we can possibly take this for a buy. But as you guys can see, price is super erratic. So you want to be super careful about taking these entries and actually waiting for it to close. So trend meter is green. Pivots over here are also indicating a bullish bias for a buy. We just need a wick rejection off the structure, which we do right here, and a moderate green candle. So meaning a green candle with little to no wick on the top side, and a decent body. So as you can see, price just keeps going back and forth. It's just ranging between this area over here. We drew the structure around this area. So this is the original structure right here. This is pretty much the range. It's pretty much this whole area. If you want to count the entire zone, this is where price is ranging from. It's having trouble closing above and closing below. So price gets to the top, rejects back down, gets to the bottom, rejects back up. All right, so still no entry here. If we get the sell signal, then, again, nothing for us to take. So just be patient, guys. Keep in mind that it is NFP and it's barely Monday. So you have a whole week ahead of you. Don't force any trades. This type of market right now is probably best to just sit out a little bit. I'm probably going to sit out a little bit until the spread starts to get tighter, because that's typically where the market starts to move a lot smoother. It's still at 190. So we'll give it a few more minutes. I don't think there's any news today to really be looking at. So you don't have anything to wait for here. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently down 231 points. It says Dow falls 250 points as major averages add to their Friday losses. So some news here. I don't think there's anything else here to follow. Just update here. All of the indices are red though. So indices are completely red. US30 is red, S&P is red, NASDAQ's red, Russell 2K is red. The VIX is slightly bullish, but not too much. It says Bitcoin drops below 20,000 to lowest level since mid-July as investors jump risk assets. Yep. No surprise there. We're already thinking about that all throughout summer. Going over here at sentiment. Sentiment is still the same, it looks like. Yeah, it's the same. So looking over here on sentiment, you can see that nothing's changed, right? So nobody's really entering or exiting the market right now. It's just bouncing back and forth. This is all pretty much straight up manipulation for the most part. All right, so we get a wick rejection right here. Trend meter is red, so won't be looking for any trades here. We got to wait for some sort of confirmation. Let's see. Yeah, Patricia said letting this calm down a bit. Same here. Just going to wait a bit for this to calm down, spreads to get tighter. It's just moving around a little too crazy right now. Peter said on my FX book, it shows in 50 minutes, US Dallas manufacturing index. Let me check that. Yeah, exactly, Rick. It just keeps bouncing around there. It's basically trying to identify where the retail traders are trading. It keeps luring people in both ways so that they can push it the opposite way, right? Thanks for this right here, Peter. Looks like we do have news at 7:30. It's medium news, so I'll keep that in mind. And I will mark it up right there. All right, so this might be a possible buy entry. I'm going to sit out on this though, because the spread is still pretty wide. I'll follow it. This candle here is also too big. I'll follow it, but I'm not going to be taking it. So just keep that in mind, guys. Just to see how it plays out. Actually, never mind. I think the wick on top is a little too big. So the wick right here on top is a little big, but if it wasn't, it would have been a solid entry. So it looks like it's going to hit TP. We're not taking this trade. We're just following it. But the wick here on top is just too big. You typically need a moderate candle where the wick here is very minimal. The reason why it's too big is because if you compare it to the body of the candle, it's like nearly the same size, right? So the wick is about 100 pips or so. The body is only 130 pips. So it's like way too big. But everything else here kind of lines up. We have the wick rejection below. Pivots here indicating a bullish bias. Trend meter here is green as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it hits TP, which it did right there, full TP. But it was a very risky trade, right? Candle was too big, plus the wick on top was too big, but still would have hit TP here. So yeah, and it also bounced off opening price, like Maddie said. So a lot of red flags here, but as you guys can see, you know, the strategy still works fine, even if there's a lot of like riskiness to it. Obviously for these live sessions, I'm not going to give you guys risky trades, so I wouldn't have taken it myself, and that's why we're not going to count it. But I just wanted to show you guys that you're going to have entries like this that are very tempting to enter, and odds are they're probably going to hit. But I just want to show you guys the riskiness of it, right? Because this could have easily went the other way. But either way, it did hit. Not going to count the trade. We're just following it to see if it played out, which it did. So, and this is why you guys got to pull out right away, right? So I just want to show you guys another reason why you can't get greedy. Because if price hit TP and you held on to it, price came right back down. So you just got to make sure to pull out as soon as you hit TP, especially during these types of conditions where the market's super erratic, spread is still kind of wide. It's still at 180. Typically, you want it to go down to 130, 140 before we start looking to take any entries or letting them run to their TP. So yeah, Maddie confirmed a V1 right here as well. It says a V1 double body, full TP as well. So depending on what strategy you guys are applying, I'm only applying the K2SR rejection right now, but it looks like the variation right here just hit, which is a version 1. So I think that's about it for right now. We'll keep looking. But yeah, as you guys can see, price isn't really doing too much. It's just bouncing between these areas. So as you can see over here on the 1 minute, you know, I'm going to clean this up a bit. So let's just clean this up so that you guys can see current structure of the market. All right, so this is current structure right here. This right here is the range. So price isn't doing too much, just keeps bouncing around this area. I think it's going to stay within a range until sentiment starts to move. Right now, they're just trying to trap people into these trades or trap people in one direction or the other. So we don't really know which direction price is going to go, right? Because the overall sentiment right here is just too weak. Sentiment right now, it increased by 1% on the long side. Looks like it lured a couple of retail traders to the buy side. So this number here increased by 1%. Not a lot, but 1% is still something. So the reason why it increased there is because, and you can see it change back to 51, right? Why do you think that happened? Because whoever chased the buys here just got stopped out, right? If price pushed like 1% in the last couple of minutes, what happened was people probably entered a buy right here because they thought price was going to go up. As soon as price came down, what happened? They get stopped out because price dropped about 700 pips. So unless you have a big stop loss, you've gone stopped out, right? They basically lured in some buyers. They got stopped out. Now sentiment is back to 51. As this number here increases, this is how you know where retail traders are trading. If this goes up to 52, 53, 54, 55, there's going to be more people entering buys, vice versa. If this over here goes up to 50, 51, 52, etc., this is going to indicate that people are entering sells. So with that said, this right here has not changed. It changed 1% and then it went back to 51 because whoever entered that probably got stopped out. So just don't chase the trades, guys, and just wait for, some sort of confirmation here. Price just keeps going back and forth between opening price right here, which is this blue line. But overall, there's no clear direction in the market. There's no other news. Next news event is out 11 with Fed member Brainerd. Yeah, not really much. I mean, the fundamentals here are still pretty red. They're down 230 points. Looking over here at the stock index, literally everything here is red. There's like one stock that's slightly green. It's Walmart and Chevron. So we got two stocks here. Chevron's up about 1 point. Walmart's up less than a point, less than a tenth of a point. It's almost going to go back to red. Heat map over here is pretty much all red. Chevron's the only thing that's really green at the moment. I can refresh this. So realistically, if you're looking at the stock index, there's no reason to take any buys here, but people are looking to take the opposite of where the market's going. That's why the number here increased slightly. They're trying to buy the dip, right? That's what everyone tries to do. They try to buy the dip, but then the market just keeps on dipping. So just be a bit patient. Okay, so this one right here, actually, no, there's no buy signal. So unfortunately, we can't take this here, even if it closes. So we don't have a bullish momentum. The trend meter here is green. Pivots are bullish as well. So if this closes here as a moderate green candle with the buy signal, then possible entry. If not, then you just got to wait. Wick rejection off structure right here. Doesn't look like it's going to close. We got about 10 seconds left on this candle here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no entry. It's a typical Monday. Volatility starting to die down. Spread's still kind of heavy. It's 180. All right. So not too much going on here. I'm going to go and update the zones here again. All right, the range just got a bit tighter. This is a good thing. If the range gets tighter right here and price starts to squeeze, that's a good thing because it's just preparing for a breakout. That's what we want. We want price to break away from this area so that we can start looking for some actual entries. Okay, if price starts to drop below here, perfectly fine. All right, what we're looking for here is a moderate red candle. If this closes as a moderate red candle, this could be a possible entry for a sell here. The pivots are starting to shift. Trend meter is red. We just need a moderate red candle, meaning that there's little to no wick on the bottom side. We have about 40 seconds left on this candle right here. And just make sure that you guys actually wait for it to close. So again, right there, price pushed up. Doesn't look like it's going to close below like we were waiting for on here. Let's see. Stanley said, hey, you don't think price is going to push up a few hundred hit points in the next couple of days? Not necessarily. I mean, why do you think that, Stanley? if you have like an analysis behind it, then we can look at it. But I don't specifically see it going that way or the other. I mean, there's no real indicators in the market indicating that's going to push up in the next couple of days. It's NFP, so if anything, it'll probably drop the next couple of days and then go back up on Friday when it's NFP. So I don't have any real distinction as to like why it'll push up 100 points. But if you have a reason, Stanley, I mean, you can give us a breakdown or just tell us like why you think that, and we can analyze that to see if like your analysis would line up with mine. But there's no direction, right? If there was sentiment here, then yeah, of course I could see it pushing up, a couple hundred points or so. But there's no sentiment here. Fundamentals here are super red. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So Stanley over here said to fill that void since price pushed down so far without a retracement. Yeah, we can take a look. Let me take a look real quick. So let's look on the 10-minute over here. So there's more of a gap, I guess we could say. Or I mean, we could even look at the 1 hour. So you're talking about this right here, right? So I think this is what Stanley's talking about. So right here, he identified this. Let me just clean up the chart a little bit. So I don't necessarily see a correction happening here. So I just cleaned up the chart a little bit here. This is what Stanley's kind of referring to. He's expecting it to come back up to fill the gap, right? So looking at this right here, there's a gap, right? This is what he's referring to right now. He's expecting price to come back and fill this. I personally don't think that's going to happen, like where it's not necessary, because price moves in different cycles, right? So we had the bearish push right here. You guys can see what price is like necessarily doing at the moment, right? It's ranging. So we went from the bearish push to a range. One of two things can happen from here. It doesn't necessarily have to correct. What can happen from this point is price can break below. Retest and continue below, right? So I can see your analysis, Stanley, and I can see that possibly happening, but this can happen as well, right? Like whenever you analyze something, you want to make sure you analyze it from both directions. You're not just thinking, okay, this has to correct, right? Because that doesn't typically happen all the time. This is what can happen actually if price continues to drop. And then on Friday, then price can actually maybe correct back up because we have a big news event coming that day. So I could see your analysis here. And yeah, you have a point. It can come up, but let me show you what happened like before that, right? There was another drop right here. So this is for a sell right here, right? The same thing happened over here, basically. Price pushed up. It ranged for a little bit right there. It did like pretty much what I referred to, broke above, retest, and then it just came up even higher. So this is the opposite of like what we just identified. I mean, this is what I identified, but for a buy. Same with like right here. So let me show you again right here. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to stimulate your guys' ability to like really analyze from both directions, right? So again, right here, price drop, same thing. Consolidated a bit. And this is what Stanley's referring to, like as it coming back to retrace. Like right here, it did retrace a little bit, but not the entire push right here. And then it just ended up coming down further. So I do see your analysis. I personally don't think it's going to play out like that. Or I don't have any reason for it to really think that a correction is going to happen, because for me right here, price is still in consolidation. If price already started to confirm, so if we saw this, right? So price pushed down below, price broke out of here, retested, and continued back up. Then from that point right here, this is where I could probably see the correction happening. But at the moment, from like what we currently have, I don't really see it correcting just yet. So I could leave this up right here, and we'll come back to in the next couple of days or so and see if it actually, gives us any hints that price is going to correct. But right now, I think price can really go either way until we have some sort of confirmation here. That makes sense. All right, so let me go back to the 1 minute chart over here. Still nothing going on. You can see that price is pretty much bouncing back and forth between the range here that I drew. It's just getting a little messier, but it's the same thing. We're updating the structure over here on the clean chart, but if you look on the markup chart, it's still not really doing much. It's just bouncing between this area right here and this area right here. It's just a big range as it continues to go back and forth. So we'll see if anything here confirms, but at the moment we don't have any entries here. There's no K2SR entries. If price stays above this area, we can possibly get a wick rejection off the bottom. The trend meter is green and the pivots are bullish, so we can possibly take this for a buy. But at the moment, there just isn't anything for us to take right now. There's a pending zone over here that's starting to develop. And we'll see where that goes shortly. Okay, so price is now pushing up pretty heavily. We'll go back to that big chart over here. It looks like it's pushing up on the 1 minute, but on the 1 hour here, you can see that it's not really pushing up that much. I mean, it is pushing up, but not necessarily enough to break out of the area yet. All right. And don't chase this right here, guys. You can see where price rejected from. It rejected directly off the Asia high. They're basically luring in more buyers here. Let's take a look at sentiment. So as you guys can see right here, the sentiment starting to increase, right? It was at 51. Now it's at 52. What's happening here? A lot of retail traders are starting to, they're chasing this buy right here. Like they think price is going to push up. However, this can be another fake out. So I wouldn't be surprised if price ends up coming right back down. And then if you see this number drop from 52 to 51, that's because those same people who entered that buy right there just got stopped out. So just be patient. And wait for this to confirm. All right. So there's no zones around this area, but either way, you don't want to be trading around the sessions anyways. This is going to be a highly manipulated area. Price will do one of two things from this point. Price will either keep pushing up or it's going to drop back down. So you kind of want to wait for that confirmation if you're looking to trade around the sessions. Looking over here at the red flag, sessions are number one. So when to avoid trades when price is near sessions. And you can see right here, it's doing exactly what I just said, right? They just faked out those buyers. And what is it doing? It's stopping them all out. So let's look at this number here. If this number drops back to 51, you already know what happens to those people. So it is at still at 52. So I'm assuming there's stop losses around this area right here. So let's see from this point to here. If their stop losses are below this point, that's about 840 pips. So this is exactly why you don't want to trade around the sessions. A lot of fake outs, a lot of manipulation. It's not a good area to trade. So here you can see prices dumping right back down. That's why you don't chase those trades. Look at the number here, guys, right? It did exactly what I said. I gave like the full on analysis. I said number went from 51 to 52 because people chased that buy. And then I mentioned price can easily just drop right here. And if it dropped to stop those people out, it would go back to 51. And look what happened. It went right back to 51. So you just got to use logic, guys. Like if you guys see the numbers here increase, that's how you'll know where the retail traders are trading. You just have to consistently look at it to know that, okay, if this is what they're doing, what can you do to outsmart them, right? Because the market makers are outsmarting all the traders. You want to do the opposite of what they're doing so that you can do what the market makers are doing. Yep. So it looks like they got stopped out. Huge drawdown right here. Yeah, another well, I mean, we gotta wait because we have a sell signal right now. So yeah, exactly. Ross said the double body was a clue, right? Yeah, the double body right here was here for a V1. Double body off the sessions. Maddie said waiting for price to reject off the SR below for below open for a sell. Yeah, no, same here, Maddie. So I'm looking for this over here to shift again because the trend meter is still green. So in order for us to look for sells, we need this to turn red. We need the pivots here to also shift. So what I'm looking for at this point is I'm looking for price to come below here, basically break, retest, provide a wick rejection and continuation below, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for right there. However, it doesn't have to stay over there. If price pushes back up, then we can look for a buy. But currently right now, you guys can see that you want to be very careful about the trades that you decide to take. Just don't be a sucker. That's like the main thing that I try to get across to you guys, right? Because there's a lot of people who get suckered into these trades, and it's actually not that difficult to identify where these sucker trades are coming in from. Because if you analyze it properly and you identify where everyone's trading, your main goal here is to do the opposite, right? If everyone's looking to buy, you want to do the sell. If everyone's looking to sell, you want to do the opposite and buy. I know it's a contrarian way of trading, but I've been trading this way for, I don't know, we've been trading live like this daily for about like 3 years, and it works perfectly fine. So if it fits your trading style, then use what we're using. If not, then stick to whatever you guys are using. Just find something that works and stick to it. But this is how I trade. So if you guys want to trade like me, this is the way that I look at the market. So there's nothing for us to look at right now. The price is still range. It's back into range basically. Price pretty much is cut back into this area right here where market opened, or pre-market, and then now it's just hanging around the area. All right. Still nothing for us to look at right now. Maddie said he saw a V1 on the 5-minute. I don't see it, Maddie. I'm looking at the body right here. The body's not aligned with it right here. Yeah, the body is kind of off. But yeah, that'd be a good hit. So what you can do is, if you're not applying the strategies on other timeframes, guys, you guys can still look at other timeframes to get clues for where price is going to go on the shorter timeframes. So if you see a variation here, price is probably going to keep dropping on the 1 minute. So I mean, it's worth taking a look at. All right, so our analysis from earlier, it looks like it's starting to play out. So price is starting to drop a little further. What we mentioned earlier is we're looking for price to drop below here so that we can look for entries for a sell. But yeah, at the moment, there isn't really anything for us to take just yet. It looks like a lot of you guys here posted some profits. Let me take a look real quick. So a lot of you guys are taking trades off my analysis right now. Melzon over here, he said testing something out. He locked in a total profit of 243, small loss, and then small win right, or bigger win right after. So Melzon is currently up 150 off this account. Nice work, Melzon. His other account over here, he's up 105. And then his third account over here, has losses. He's trying something out right now, so it's okay. He's just testing, not necessarily big or small losses. Possible sell right here, guys. If this closes as a moderate red candle, trend meter is red. It's not touching, never mind, take it back. It's touching the opening price now, so no entry. Market is still playing around, so we'll keep following it. Let me see the other profits here that you guys posted. So this is what Casey was talking about earlier. Gotcha, Casey, yeah. Looks like it could test that area. Yeah, 31,953, which is down here, which is perfectly fine, Casey, because if that's the case and we get the wick rejection off this point, then it's going to line up with your analysis, right? So Casey's basically identifying price to possibly come down and test 190. Let's see what he put here. 31,953. Oh, it's like way down here. So yeah, no, that's perfectly fine, Casey. If that's the case, then if we're looking for sells here, it's going to line up with your analysis. So he's expecting it to drop quite a bit further. So I could see it happening, Casey. And we'll use your analysis to confirm our entry if we do take sells here. So yeah, no, definitely. I can see it coming down a bit. Still in that range. So you can see the range here on your market as well. We have the higher range right here, lower range right here. Price can come back down to retest the lower range. So we'll keep that in mind. Maria over here, she took a sell earlier, locked in a total profit of 144. Nice work, Maria. So glad to see some of you guys here still taking profits off the analysis. Anelli over here as well. He said, just taking some trades on my demo while we wait for an official entry, locking a total profit of 4,003 for the day. Nice work, Nelly. So not bad. And that's something you guys can do as well. If you guys want to wait for something, but you still want to test out entries, you guys can always, play around with the demo account until we get that official entry. Ross over here currently up 10,090 for the day. Nice work, Ross. Looks like you had one loss here pre-market. Everything else straight wins. So solid work right there, Ross. Looking at the current candle, guys, it's currently touching the opening price. We're not going to have an entry there. For the next candle, though, we can possibly have a sell. So this is perfectly fine. If it closes below here, what we're looking for next is we're looking for another wick rejection off the structure and a moderate red candle to follow. But if it keeps bouncing around opening price right here, we're not going to have an entry because price cannot touch the opening line right here. It's going to be a red flag. So a couple more profits over here, Stanley. So let's see, Stanley over here took the buy earlier that we marked up, looks like, or I think this is pre-market maybe, locking a total profit of 870 for the day. Nice work, Stanley. And that went the direction of your bias as well, because you're looking for a buy here. And it's fine, guys. So if you guys have a bullish bias, that's completely fine. Like Stanley has a bullish bias here because he's expecting the correction here on the 1 hour, right? Which can happen. Don't get me wrong, it can happen. But for me personally, I want to wait for the confirmation. So if you guys have a bias for a buy, that's completely fine. If you have a bias for a sell, that's completely fine as well. You just want to make sure that your analysis lines up with the actual trades that you guys are taking. So nice work, Stanley. We have Slava over here as well. Slava took the buy earlier too, locked in a total profit of 1,428 for the day. Nice work, Slava. Let's see. Yeah, so Milzon's having some issues with MFF. Sucks. I mean, no surprise though. They've been kind of screwing around with their execution times. All right, guys. So if this candle here closes as a moderate green candle, possible buy. Just want to make sure the candle's not too big. Looks like it is too big. Yeah, the candle's way too big. Man, this market kind of sucks today. So this is I would consider it too big because the candle is going to be longer than the stop loss. If that becomes the case, then if price needs to retrace at least to the halfway mark, even the full candle, it'll probably stop you out before it hits your TP. Let's see. Maddie said 10-minute variation pending, waiting for price to break out, messing around open, luring in traders. Just gonna wait for the next candle. Yeah, same. So no entry off that. Buy signal never closed. So no entry off that. The candle was also too big. Let's look at sentiment. All right, so some more retail traders here entered a buy. So what I'd be looking for is a fake out back to the bottom. Or if price continues to push up, this might be the time for it to push up further. All right. So for short term right now, guys, we still currently have a bullish bias. It's not very strong, but it is bullish. The trend meter here is green, but you can see it starts to change. It goes from red to green, green to red, etc. So you want to keep an eye on that to make sure. This is fine that price is dropping like this. If it closes as an invalid buy signal, it would be okay because we still need it to come down and test the structure. So let me see what other profits we have here. Valentine as well. Valentine's currently at 4,446. Looks like he took a lot of these trades. Yeah, these are all from this morning. So Valentine over here has been taking trades both ways. He's pretty much just following, it seems like, the analysis that we're covering during the live, locked in a total profit of 4,446. Your first trade happened at 658. And you took the last one at 704. Pretty much catching these bounces off the structure. So nice work, Valentine. And it's good that you're letting them hit TP. I can see the green strips right here. So solid work right there. Jay over here took the buy that we were looking at. So we took the buy earlier, locked in a total of 1,340. Nice work, Jay. He took that risky buy that we took a look at, and then he took the variation V3 over here as well for another 590. Total profit of 1,862 for the day. Nice work, Jay. So Jay said that he's done for the day. Not bad. Yeah, if you hit your profit goal for the day, you can just call it a day. I still haven't taken any trades on my own account, so I'm still waiting for something to come up here. We have possible news coming up at 7:30, so you want to be careful around this area. Hoping we get an entry before or after it. David over here said MC4 acting weird on MFF. Market is scary. So David over here, luckily he entered the trade that we looked at earlier, took a buy, lock in $33. But he said that his MFF is acting weird. Yeah. Yeah, so David over here, he says his MFF's acting weird. Same with Melzon. He took losses here. His other accounts took wins, but his last one over here executed a lot later. So yeah, I think that's it for right now. See it. Anelli over here again. Anelli's currently up 8,693. Nice work, Nelly. Looks like he's taking trades off these bounces off structure. And then just pretty much riding them to let, pretty much let them run to full TP. So not bad, Nelly. That's one way you guys can trade too. I mean, if you guys understand how to follow my analysis here, I mean, you guys can take trades off a lot of these bounces because they happen so often. Here we go. As price pushes back up, we don't have a buy signal yet, but we're looking for in order for us to get that buy or the entry, we need price to actually close within the structure here. All right, we got a new zone up here. That's fine. If price pushes up, then just have a new area to look for. All right. So this is fine right here. If price ends up closing within this point, this is exactly what we want to look for because we want the next candle to have a wick rejection out of the structure. So I actually want this to close within this area. If it closes within this area right here, then we'll have the wick rejection on the next candle. It has to close within this area though. It can't close below it. It can't close above it. It has to be within it. This might be the actual push because you know how we were looking for buys earlier, the fake out happened right here. And this might be the second test. And price did not close within it. So there's not going to be an entry off the next candle. Unfortunately. Man. Such a back and forth market today. Here's the clean chart. Let me go ahead and just update this a little bit. Yeah, Maddie said faked out again. Exactly. It's another fake out. The good thing is that we're not getting caught in these fake outs, right? We're identifying that and we're able to avoid them. But a lot of people are getting caught in these fake outs. So as you can see, price is dumping right here. Let's see if this changed again. It's at 52. Let me refresh it. Still at 52. So those people didn't necessarily get stopped out yet. But if price drops lower, they can possibly get stopped out. Yeah, no, Jonathan said, typical Monday, yawning. Yeah, I know exactly. Maddie said it's probably going to range until 8. I can see that too, or until the news event. Miles mentioned that MFF is frozen. I'm not an MFF, so I can't really tell, guys, but I'm assuming it is. I mean, they've been frozen like a lot last week. Seems like every day last week they were frozen. So you might not want to use MFF as your main account. If you guys are using the copier, you probably want to use it as a copier so that it doesn't get caught. And then it ends up freezing the other accounts as well. Yeah, Patricia said MFF is the worst prop firm right now. Yeah, they've been pretty off like the past couple months now, it seems like for the past 1 or 2 months. Had a lot of issues, especially with the execution times. All right, so again, we're back at nothing. Price is pretty much still just ranging within this area. In order for us to have a buy entry, we need to get that buy signal, which we don't have yet. Retail traders here are still at 52%. Fundamentals over here, still down 211 points. Looking at the heat map over here, heat map is pretty much still all red. A couple of green stocks there, but not very many. I'll refresh the stock index right here. So we have about 4 green stocks, but they're not really that green, right? So Verizon here is up 0.02 points. Visa is up 0.16, or these are basically up less than a point. So they're not really relevant right now. Boeing, Visa, Verizon up less than a point. Chevron's up 2.73 points. So it's kind of higher, but still, these red stocks over here engulf all of those green stocks. So we need this buy signal to close. If it closes, we want it to be within this area here so that we can get that rejection. Yeah, Maddie said, ever since MFF screwed me early in the year, I never went back. They just blame all the issues on slippage. Yeah, I know, it sucks. All right, so right here, we have a wick rejection off the structure. And if this closes a buy signal, it would be a possible entry. However, it's right at the session, so. Wick rejection off the structure, buy signal, pivots are green. Trend meter is green, it's bullish, but it's right at the sessions. So either way, no entry, and the candle is too big. So it's kind of annoying because what happens a lot of the time is we get like this dead period where there's like nothing happening. Then all of a sudden we get these big candles that come out of nowhere. The spread is still at 190, guys. So the spread is super wide right now. Yeah, Steven said today's a slow day, no official entry so far. Yeah. I agree, Steven. Seth said I give up for the day, lol. Yeah, no, this day's been kind of, but I did warn you guys before, like I was saying that Monday is usually going to be either like it's a hit or miss, especially during NFP. If you guys ever trade NFP, which most of you do, you guys will typically see like during NFP week. And if you guys are not familiar with NFP, it stands for non-farm payroll. It's like one of the most manipulated trading days of the month. It happens once a month. Typically Monday, Tuesday are like iffy. They're either going to be really good or they're going to be really choppy or really slow. And then it picks up on Wednesday. So like today was like a total hit or miss, right? It could have been, it's still, it's volatile, but it's ranging. So it's pretty much been ranging between this area up here and this area down here. As you guys can see, market opened over here at 630. So from 630, price has literally just been bouncing back and forth between these two price points. Not very much at all. I know Jonathan said I was expecting you to be trading live from Cabo today. Yeah, no, I got in last night. Thankfully I got in. I was so tired. I was ready to get back to trading. So yeah, no, thankfully I was back. I'm back. I planned it so I could come back at this specific time. Looks like we have an accidental drawing on the screen from Fahad. It's all good, Fahad. I'll delete it. All right, so there still isn't anything for us to take. We do have the buy signal here, but in order for us to get a wick rejection off the structure, price needs to be above this point right here. So until price gets above here, there's not much that we can take. Maddie said, I'm hungover and this market sucks. Might just go back to sleep. Yeah, well, we got about 40 minutes left. So I feel like as we get closer to 8, that's where like the entries are going to start coming in. That's what's been happening a lot lately. Like the past couple of weeks, I've noticed that the opening session is kind of trash. It'll be really slow or it'll just be really choppy. And then as soon as 8 hits, it provides like all these back-to-back entries. Yeah, Maddie said I'll see y'all until 8, just need one trade. Yeah, no, same here, guys. So today is the mentoring session day, guys, but I didn't really ask you guys if you guys wanted a different day. I'll put a poll in the group. We can have it today, tomorrow, Wednesday. I just want to make sure that the people who actually want help with the mentoring session can attend. So I'll put a poll in the group right now. But Monday is typically our day to have, our mentoring session and to host. Today at 2 p.m. Tuesday, August 30, 2 p.m. How many days are in August? 31, I'm assuming. I think there's 31 days. Yeah, 31. Wednesday. I can do whichever day works for like whoever actually wants the session. Last week we had the session it was like the shortest session ever. So I just want to make sure that we have it on the proper day. Or if you guys don't want a session, that's fine too. You don't have to have a session. I just host these sessions to, help whoever needs help. So if you guys can vote for this, that'd be great. But if there's no session necessary, then, we can skip a week. I just show up for an hour to help whoever needs help. But if you guys don't want it, that's completely fine. I just try to make myself as available as possible to make sure that you guys get everything down. But I think for the most part, since we're just applying the K2SR strategy, there's not very many questions because it's such an easy strategy to learn. You just master it through actual practice. So he said extend morning session stream instead of mentoring session. Yeah, no, I would do that, but we usually get the bad trades around that time. So I don't want to teach you guys bad habits in trading after 8 o'clock, right? If you guys want to trade around that time, you guys are more than welcome, but I don't want to give you guys bad habits to end up trading longer than you need to. Because you can find enough good trades between that period and avoid the riskier ones that happen between 8 and 10. 8 and 10 is usually not a good time anyways. So possible entry right here, guys. If this closes as a moderate green candle, we have the wick rejection right here. Trend meter is green. Pivots here are also bullish. So what we're looking for right now is we're looking for a moderate green candle. So make sure that this candle over here is green and it has little to no wick on the top side, or it could have a wick on the top, but it just can't be too big. Yeah, so Maria said there's no wick on FTMO. So this right here still wouldn't be an entry even if it closed. The wick on top is just too big. It's basically the same size as the candle body. So no entry off that right there. Thanks, Maria, for the heads up. Maria also mentioned that there's no wick on FTMO. We typically go off TradingView, but you could go back and forth to see, both candles on FTMO and on TradingView just to confirm, because it's better to be safe than sorry, right? Like you don't want to take a risky trade. So thanks, Maria, for the heads up right there. Maddie said possible entry, but price looks overextended. Yeah, I agree too, Maddie. And that's why I was waiting for this here to close. It closed with the wick on top that was too big. So it pretty much confirmed that, it's probably not going to be a good trade, or not going to be an actual continuation just yet. So yeah, Patricia said you might want to come on a half hour later and stay on for a half hour longer. Yeah, I mean, possibly we can do something like that too. I'll probably put a poll in the group. I don't want to take away from people's mentoring session time if they want it. But yeah, no, I mean, we can always play around with the market, guys, or with our sessions here. I just don't want to give people the intentions that they should be on the market all day. I think 1.5 hours is good, but yeah, 2 hours is good too. It's just making sure that everyone's fully focused. Because I feel like a lot of people's attention span kind of dies down. That's why I cut it off at 8, because 8 is usually where the riskier trades come up. There's good trades after 8, but I feel like a lot of people's attention span starts to die out around that time. Main reason I see that is because I see people fall off the chat. Like we'll start off with like 100 people in the Zoom, and then it goes down to like 50 people, right? Because the other people just couldn't hang. And when you guys do take scalps, you want to make sure that you're 100% focused. Like you can't be halfway there. So we'll see. All right, price is pushing around this area. It's just ranging right now. In order for us to have an entry, we actually need to get a wick rejection off the bottom. So I actually want this to close within this area here. And then from there, we can, so it needs to, never mind. It closed below here. If it closes too low, we're not going to get a wick rejection off this zone here. And we're also going to be right at the sessions. So it's just about at that time. Thanks, Marco. Marco also mentioned that it's 5 minutes before news, so we might have to wait a bit for this news event to pass. Thanks, Marco, for that heads up. I wasn't even paying attention. So basically between this period right here, no trades. So this is going to be the dead zone time for news. News is coming up right here at 7:30. Check the calendar real quick. It's weird that it's not here on Forex Factory, but it is on my FX book. So we do have medium news coming up right here at 3 minutes or in 3 minutes. So thanks, Marco, for that heads up right there. Looks like we're just going to chill out for a bit, guys, until news has passed. All right, so nothing for us to take right now. Andreas posted some profits. Nice work, Andreas. Locked in a total profit of 411 for the day. Great work. 411 euros. So solid work right there, Andreas. I think that's it for right now. Oh, spread's still pretty high. Spread's at 180 on FTMO, which is kind of weird because typically the spread gets a lot tighter by now. It's kind of wide like the first 5, 10, 20 minutes. But then it goes back down to like 130, 140. It's still at 180 right now. So that might be a heads up, that something crazy might happen, like a spike in price. So let me go over here and just update the market structure again. All right, so not too much here. Scotty just posted some profits. He took the buy earlier this morning at 7:15, locked in a total profit of 1,080. He let us trade at full TP. Nice work, Scotty. I'll just put a vote here so that we can see. Okay, so majority of people today are voting for the session today. If you guys have a different day, go ahead and vote. But it looks like majority of people are voting for it today. All right, so it looks like price is cutting into another range right here. Sideways direction. Not too much going on. Here's the chart markup. So this blue area right here is just the dead zone, guys. You don't want to trade around this area. Typically from Maddie's analysis and backtest, he mentioned that a couple losses would happen when news was around, but the crazy movement or the unusual movement always happened 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after. So this would probably be a good time to just wait. You got the news coming up in less than a minute. I'll mark it up once it comes up, and then we'll go from there. So. There you go. As price moves along. All right, let's see. Still nothing going on here. Trend meter is still green. Pivots here are still bullish. If price drops below, then might be a change. I'm going to update this right here. The zone's a little farther out. All right, so here we go with the news candle right here. I'm just going to take this off to clean it up a little bit. We do have the news candle right here. I'm going to see where it closes, and then I will mark up a line wherever news price is at. We got about 40 seconds left on this news candle. Let's check the news real quick, see where it's at. Refresh this. Still hasn't updated. You can see the time right there is loading. About 20 seconds left on this candle here. Five seconds. And there goes news candle. So it's actually really small. There wasn't really much on it. This is 7:30 US news, medium impact. News. Let's take a look at the calendar over here. The news was positive. All right, so as you guys can see, price is reacting to news right there as it pushes up higher. Nothing too specific here. I'm going to update this zone below here. Looks like it just got a bit smaller. All right, so with price pushing up right here, this is completely fine. It is reacting to news though. So news is positive, price pushed up from here. It came down literally at this point, rejected off the structure. And then now it's pushing back up right here. So I think that's it for the news this morning. We have news again at 8:30, but it's not going to be relevant to us because it will be off by 8. Looking over here at the other calendar, we don't have anything else. Remember, Brainerd's going to speak at 11, so you want to be careful for that as well. Sentiment over here, it is back at 51%. So what happened to that 1% that was at 52? They got stopped out, right? If they chased it from up here, how much drawdown came down? Came down about 800 pips. So I'm assuming that they got stopped out, whoever was chasing that. Just make sure it's not you, right? It's okay to analyze things and identify where people are getting stopped out, but just make sure it's not you, because you guys have all the tools in front of you, or what I've taught you guys so far, that will help you avoid those types of trades. So again, right now, sentiment is still pretty neutral, but you see this number here, which continues to increase and decrease. So just don't get caught in those traps. Fundamentals here are still down 100 or 215 points. So it's still pretty bearish overall. The trend meter here just turned red. Okay, so this is fine. Now that price is dropping below here, we need price to actually be below this point right here, so that we can get that wick rejection off the structure. Let's see. Maddie over here just posted his profits. Looks like he took a buy earlier today. Took a loss on that. It's fine. He made it right back on the sell right here. So nice recovery, Maddie. Key thing is that you bounce back from it. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Maddie took an accidental loss and then he bounced right back and he took the sell. So he might have taken like a variation. Yeah, if you start making accidents like that, Maddie, it might be time for you to call it a day, right? Because you're starting to fall into trades, take trades that are not necessarily there. I'm still looking for the sell here. So as price drops below this point and closes around this area, then we can get a wick rejection off this point, and we can probably catch it drop a little lower. I'm kind of more inclined to look for a sell here more than a buy because I feel like the fake outs keep happening on the buy side. So if price comes below here, I think it'll drop at least far enough to lure in some more sellers, but we can probably, trade within that area. So just something to keep in mind, food for thought. I'm going to delete this right here. We got that news price marked up. So as you can see, news happened right here at 7:30. It was positive, faked out, came right back down. So you typically don't want to trade news or follow news because it'll likely do the complete opposite of what you thought it would happen. Still no update right there. All right, price is dropping right here. This is completely fine. This is exactly what we're looking for. So prices drop below here. Now that price is within this area, we might get a wick rejection off this point. It's got to close below here though. I don't want it to be near opening price. Okay, this is perfect. So I'm looking for a wick rejection right here, which we have. If this closes as a moderate red candle, this can possibly be an entry for an SR scalp. It just needs to close as a moderate red candle, not too big. And not too big of a wick on the bottom end as well. So I'll be following this right here. Just hoping the candle doesn't close too big. It's bouncing around a lot. So, and it still has 30 seconds left on it. So you got to be a bit careful. There's another zone right here as well. So I can update the zone. Got about 20 seconds left on this candle. Man, stupid candle. So it doesn't look like a moderate red candle, unfortunately. Yeah. So Mark over here asked if this is a possible high low. Yeah, this could be a possible high low. The only problem with this right here is that it's overextended, right? Price has been pushing too heavy right now. So I might have to retrace a little bit. But yeah, you did spot that high low right there. This candle right here, broke and closed below this low right here. So as you can see, that is a high low that Marco identified. This might here just might align with the an SR rejection on this point. So yeah, I mean, it could be a double entry basically coming down from that point there. You could possibly even get an early entry for the high low if you were like already in it. So if this closes as a moderate red candle, I'll make sure the candle's not too big though. So let's see. The wick on the bottom is kind of big, but it looks like it could still fit the requirements. We have wick rejection off the structure right here. What I'm probably going to do right here is I'm going to wait a little bit and see if I can take, I want to confirm it before I enter. Wick rejection, pivots are crossing over. Trend meter here is also red. The only thing that's really kind of make me think twice is the wick on the bottom right here. So I'll just wait for a little bit, see if it retraces up. If it comes back down, I'll probably set like a sell stop there to catch it as it rides below. And then I'll just have to watch it to make sure. So I'm not in the position yet, guys. I'm just waiting for it to come back down from where it's currently at. And then possibly get this sell stop to trigger and then write it down lower. You just want to be careful when the price is overextended like that. Let me see if there's anything here. Oh, what the heck? Let me show you guys this. I didn't realize. So I think I accidentally entered a sell earlier when I was trying to mark it up because I already have a TP that's been hit. What time did this trade get taken? This trade was taken at 7:37. So about 2 minutes ago, I was in a trade. Let me just take a screenshot. I'll show you guys. I mean, this trade isn't going to count, but I think when I was moving over across to MT4 earlier when we were looking at that high-low entry, I think I accidentally hit the sell button when I was fixing my, okay, so price is coming back down. See if it's going to hit my sell stop. So it's not triggered yet. I'm technically not in the position yet, guys. I'm waiting for it to come back below. I was looking at my MT4 right now, and it looks like I actually entered a sell a few minutes ago. I think this is when I was looking at okay, so my trade is filled. Watch over here. I just gotta make sure that I pull out proper, like within time, because the spread is still kind of crazy. It's at 170 right now. So I'm watching it as it comes below. Man, I don't like the price movement right now. Let's bounce around that area. Let's see where it's currently at. It just keeps rejecting off like the other structures. So I'm in the position. I have my TP and stop loss set. Fuck, hit my fucking stop loss. All right, it's all good, guys. It happens. I probably should have just avoided this one. You know, I was just I wanted to be in a position so bad that I entered it. But we did identify that it was overextended. So price was overextended from this point where price came below. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes right back down and hits a TP, but I kind of forced this trade here. Like I didn't enter it right away. I was waiting for it to come back down. It triggered my sell stop as the price got below here. The retracement happened right here as it pulled back because it hasn't retraced yet. It's been dropping for about, and we're going to count this as a loss. It's all good. Just want to be 100% transparent with you guys. But looking right here, you guys can see that there was, it was just dropped down too far. So price dropped down to this point, 1,450 pips, and then it didn't retrace yet. So what I should have done is I should have just waited a little longer for another entry. But it happens, right? I just wanted to be in a position already. So I took the trade there. Should have just probably waited for the next one because it was due for some retracement here. So price is retracing at this point, and then eventually just might make its way down. So maybe later I'll take another entry if it comes up, but it was a bad entry on my end. I was just kind of trying to force a trade at this point because I just wanted to take at least one trade for the day. So I'll take a screenshot of my trades here. I'll show you guys the loss. Luckily, the trade before that I had taken when we were looking at the high-low. So it offset my losses a little bit, but I still have a loss here, so it's all good. I'm in the red for the week so far. It's only Monday, so just keep that in mind. Have a whole week ahead of us. This is what happens when you guys get FOMO, right? I get FOMO too, so you guys will see here that we all make mistakes. All right, so we're counting that as a loss. I have no wins for the week so far. Just one trade, just that one. No entry off this right here. This would have been another nice entry, but no entry off that because it was right at the opening price. So it's doing kind of what I just mentioned. It retraced up and now it's coming right back down. So if I didn't enter that trade right there, it'd be coming right back down. Just got caught with a bad entry. All right, so let me just screenshot this. Prices, man. So it did exactly what I just mentioned, right? It faked out, and then what happened? Came down, hit TP. So whack, but whatever, it happens. So right here, guys, this is what I was just referring to. So price was overextended, retraced up a little bit, came back down, hit TP. So it just faked out right here. We got caught in the fake out. It like barely triggered stop loss and then came right back down at TP. So it's all good. It is what it is. I'll wait for the next one. So if it comes back right here and retests the structure, I can take that for another sell. It's just going to offset my loss. But I'll show you my losses real quick. It's not that bad because I did have that trade right before. MFF kind of screwed me though, so I'm not surprised. Let me see what they gave me here. Hopefully they gave me. So it looks like there was some slippage, and I'll show you guys shortly because I didn't get the full profit. I also didn't get the full loss on the other account. John said, nice luck. I know, right? Yeah. came up, and then it came right back down. So same thing right here, same situation. Price came up, literally tipped the stop loss, and it came down to a full TP. So it is what it is. Let me oh, actually my MFF did give me like, so my MFF actually worked in my favor this time, surprisingly. My MFF is still in profit. Hopefully my other ones are too. So MFF actually worked in my favor this time. I'm in profit on all my MFFs. FTMO took a loss, but MFFs, I'm in profit. So the late executions actually worked in my favor for this. So there's still no entry right now, guys. I'm looking for possibly one more to offset my losses or my loss. We just have one trade. All right, so let me just go on and just give you guys an update. I just want to be, completely transparent with you guys so that you guys understand, why the loss happened. And if you guys want to go back and review it. So I would consider this my bad right here, because I should have known that price was overextended and it was going to retrace. I just really wanted to beat an entry, so I took it, but it happens. So on K2, saw rejection, entry on live. Where's the stop sign at? Oh, that symbol is so right there. And then I will post up my accounts so that you guys can see. So I just ate the loss there. Slippage just happened to work in my favor, thankfully. All right, so here we go with that trade right there. We just want to make sure we document all trades, guys. So you want to make sure that you document all wins and all losses so that you guys can identify, really understand what the win rate is for the specific strategy. Let me just update the zone right here. So looks like this is just one huge zone now. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, this looks like it's just one big zone now. I don't like the size of that zone. I'm just gonna split them up into two right here, because let me see. This might be an entry right here. It's kind of hard to see because the zones are so scrunched up right now. I see the wick rejection. The only problem with this is that it's so close to opening price, but we do have a wick rejection off the structure. We have a sell trend meter, a red trend meter. Pivots are also bearish, but I'm just going to skip this. Yeah, that's the same thing I was looking at, Maddie, right there. Technically an entry, but it was really close to the sessions. I wasn't sure how this candle actually closed. So I'm not going to take it for a late entry. I'm not going to be taking any FOMO trades anymore. But here is the trade that I took earlier. So this is the one that I took a loss on. Unfortunately, it went up, hit stop loss, and it came straight down to, and I'll just give a little update right here as well. Our trade traced up to stop loss, then straight to TP. Yeah, so there's a trade right there, Maddie, that we were looking at. It looks like it actually would have hit. Fortunately, we didn't even take that one. So there would have been our offset right here for that trade. It's just hard to see because of all these, the zones here keep overlapping now, that it's creating a mess on the charts. We have a zone here, a zone right here. This zone right here is technically a full, a big zone, but it's kind of hard to see because I was trying to fix it, but it's all good. this was the entry that we were looking at earlier, and it would have hit full TP, but it's okay. We could wait for another one. It's still 750 right now, so we have about 10 minutes left, and the spread is still super wide. That's another thing that I noticed too for this entry over here that we took the loss. Let's give this right here. Also spread was at 190 for FTMO. So I just want to put as much details on this trade so that you guys can study and analyze this to understand, why the loss was here. I'll just give another update here too. Should have waited. Price was, and I'll keep extended down for over pips. Should have waited for the retracement. My fault. So I take responsibility for that trade, guys. A lot of things we could have done differently with that one. Is just really wanted to enter a trade. So unfortunately, right there, I did take the loss with everyone else, whoever took it. Price literally tapped stop loss, came right down to full TP right after. Here are my trades. This is a trade that I didn't really remember taking like right before it. I made profit off that for my loss right here. You can see the red strip. I just let it hit stop loss. This is tough for a lot of people to just let your trade hit stop loss because if in this situation, if you didn't put your stop loss there, you would have still won the trade, right? But this teaches you discipline, because this wouldn't necessarily happen all the time, right? This can easily just go straight past your stop loss and continue pushing. So a lot of times you just have to eat that loss, move on to the next one. As you can see right here, I'm only down, I lost 2,710 off that one trade, but overall I'm only down this much. Also slippage worked in my favor. I was supposed to lose 3,000, but it saved me on like 300. This wick right here is too big, guys. So I know a lot of you guys are probably looking at this for an entry here, but the wick is just too big on the bottom. Would have hit full TP if the wick wasn't that big, but it's one that we would have skipped. So there's a couple entries we just missed here. We missed this one over here, full TP, and then this one right here we wouldn't have taken because the wick on the bottom was too big, but it also would have been a full TP. So back to my trade over here. So this is my FTMO. I lost 2,700. My second FTMO, I lost 2,710. For my MFF, it actually worked in my favor. There was slippage here, and also the execution times were super late. So I only lost 550. From that first trade, I was up 1,000. So I'm actually in profit on both of my MFFs right here, or all three of them. So I got 500 profit on this one. The same thing happened on the second one. I'm up 710. And then for the third one over here, I lost 450. I'm still in profit 610. So, doing the math here, I'm not really down that much. Or even if it was just that one trade, I still wouldn't be as down as much as I typically would be due to slippage here. So it is what it is. I mean, I guess they were looking for it. I'm trying to cover my loss there, but it's okay. So let me just give you guys a little update there. And this is just to show you that, losses do happen. They don't happen very often, but they do happen. And you have to understand how to manage them, right? Can't get caught up on them. Just move on to the next one. So again, right here, possible entry, but the volatility is picking up super heavily right now. This one right here is an entry, but the candle is just too big. So unfortunately, I can't take this right here. The candle is bigger than the stop loss. So if price does the same thing it did earlier, retrace to the candle length, it'll probably stop you out before it comes down and hit your TP. So I wouldn't recommend taking this entry right here. You guys can see how like these trades come in bunches, right? So there was one trade over here that lost but hit TP. Then there was one trade right here that would have been a win. And then again right here, this one could have possibly been entry if the wick on the bottom wasn't too big. That's 2 wins. And then again right here, another one. But this is like way too overextended. Candle's just too big. But it looks like it may push down and hit full TP on that as well. So you can see right here where it's retracing. Typically where the candle retraces, if the candle is too big like that, is that the next candle will probably retrace to the halfway mark, which it already did right there, or the actual candle. So 2 points of rejection. Yeah, Peter said those wicks on the 2 candles on the 1 hour are just wicks of 900 pips. It's a huge, huge risk right there. So going back to the 1 hour over here, I'm not sure if you're still on, Stanley, but price still isn't doing much. It's still in that same range that we drew earlier. So this is why it's good, because you can trade within the range if you're applying the K2SR scalps, but there's no confirmation whether price is going to keep pushing up or whether it's going to keep pushing down. So right here, price is bouncing around. Not too much going on here. This might be an entry right here off this candle. This closes properly. It's got to close as a moderate red candle though. So just keep that in mind. The wick on the bottom cannot be anywhere near as big as it is right now. It's got to be moderate red candle. So the wick on the bottom is way too big. Or we'll see how it closes. It drops a little lower, possible entry. No, wick on the bottom is just way too big. So no entry off that. The wick on the bottom is basically the same size as the body. Yeah, no, exactly. Casey said it went to where I said to take the Asia low, probably still going to continue trend. I think to lower lows. Yeah, no, I can see that too, Casey. That was why I was inclined to take the sell here earlier, because we discussed this earlier in the session. If you guys remembered, Casey mentioned that he was his target price was down here 100 or at 31,953, I believe, which aligned with the trade that we took earlier. So it's a lot of tempting moves here, a lot of things that could lined up perfectly for sells, a lot of things that could have faked out. So it's all good, but the analysis did play out, Casey. So we were both looking for sells this morning, and it went nearly to where Casey was aiming for, which is down this point right here. Yeah, basically the Asia low. All right, so still no entries right here. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. Maddie over here took a couple trades. He could have let this last one run, went back in profit, but it's all good. He's currently down 271 for the day. Took a lot of entries, Maddie. I know this one over here he took was an accident. I think this was probably the same one we took, right, for that entry. And then a couple wins over here. So nice work. I mean, recovery was cool, but gotcha. Okay, the 3 lot was a supply and demand. Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah, so Maddie took a supply and demand entry right here, and then for down here, he took 2 SR entries. Yeah, I would just call it a day, Maddie, if that's the case, because you're only down $200. Like you just need one trade to bounce right back from it. Yeah, exactly. No, and I agree with you too. So let's see if people voted for this. So it looks like we still have more votes for Monday, guys. I'll leave this poll up until maybe like around 9 p.m. And then from there, we can decide whether we're going to have the mentoring session today or Tuesday or Wednesday. But either way, I'll make myself available. Casey said sentiment is now 59%. Feels like sells are on the long. Yeah, no, it's fine, Steven. We'll see you tomorrow too. Yeah, Steven said I'll be back tomorrow. What a slow day. Yeah, I agree. All right, it's 2 minutes till 8, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, it looks like we'll be wrapping this up for the day. Unfortunately, today we ate a loss. It was a loss that could have been avoided, a loss that would have hit TP, but it happens. So I was hoping we'd catch one more to offset it, because I just need about, let's see, I'm currently down. Yeah, I just need one trade to bounce back from it. For my FT models, my MFFs are in profit, but for my FT models, I just need 1 or 2 trades to make it back into profit. So, which is fine. We're probably gonna get more trades tomorrow. Let me check the news real quick to see if anything is coming up tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, we have news at 6 o'clock. We have HPI, S&P CS Composite 20 HPI. It's light impact, but I mean, it's going to affect the market either way. At 7 o'clock, we have high impact news, Joel's job openings. This is going to indicate how many jobs are currently open in the US, and CV consumer confidence. So a lot of high impact news tomorrow at 7 o'clock. This is going to push price around, which is going to be beneficial for us. And then we have Fed member Williams speaking at 8 o'clock. So we got a lot of news tomorrow, a lot of volatility. That's going to be good. We can probably catch a couple entries as price bounces around. On Wednesday, we have Fed member Mester speaking at 5 o'clock pre-market. And then at 5:15, we have ADP non-farm employment change. And again, we have Chicago PMI at 6:45, and then crude oil inventories at 7:30. So we have a lot of news coming up on Wednesday, which is also going to be good for us. Thursday, some news as well: unemployment claims, challenger cuts, revised non-farm productivity, revised unit labor costs, final manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing PMI, construction spending, ISM manufacturing prices, and Ward's total vehicle sales. So we do have a lot of news coming up in the next couple of days, which is going to cause volatility in the market. This is what I was kind of referring to earlier. Monday was kind of a dead day. There was like nothing for us to base trades off news because there was not too much news today. However, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a lot of news. Friday, the big day, NFP. So just be prepared for that, guys. It's all right. We have 4 days ahead of us, so we got a long way to go. But looking at the market right now, there's nothing for us to take at the moment. It is now 8:01, so I'm going to be wrapping it up for the day. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, I'll keep the poll open until about 9 o'clock. If you guys haven't voted yet, if you guys can vote, that'd be great so that we can figure out what's a good day for everybody. Either way, I'm available today, tomorrow, or Wednesday for a mentoring session. So whatever day you guys choose, we'll have our session and then we'll go over whatever questions you guys have. So if you guys vote for Monday, which is currently the winning vote right now, I will see you guys back here in about 6 hours. So other than that, guys, I will see you guys in a few. So have a great rest of your morning, guys. And if you guys don't have to trade, I'd probably just sit out the market. Fed member Brainerd is going to be speaking at 11 anyways. So you want to be out of the market by the time he's speaking. So other than that, guys, I will see you guys then.